Hello and welcome to Cryptocurrents. I'm your host, Monica Profit, and I'm here today with Shane Rodgers, the CEO and founder of PDX Beam. Shane, thank you so much for joining us.
Well, thank you for having me. It's a pleasure.
And where are you calling in from, by the way? Where are you based right now?
I'm in kind of sort of sunny Midtown Manhattan.
Kind of sort of sunny. Today it
Kind
has
of
been a
sort of
strange.
sunny. It's one
I'm
of
in
those
lower
Manhattan
Manhattan.
days.
Yeah, same thing. It's like, the weather can't figure it out. I guess by tonight we might end up with some near some off pushing from the latest hurricane out in the
Yeah, yeah,
Caribbean.
yeah. Well, that'll be tonight. That'll be tonight and tomorrow, right?
Right. That'll be just make it an interesting evening. Well, welcome. It's so nice to know you. We could have used cups and string for this. We're really not that far apart.
I didn't think of that myself.
Well, I'm excited to learn more about PDX Beam because I did a little bit of research onto some of the interesting use cases. And I mean, to know that I can walk up the street and potentially actually use this in real life is unique because the space is evolving so fast. Sometimes I interview people that have an esoteric solution, but it's like scanning the QR code takes me to a DeFi platform that I don't know anything about. And this is so real. Can you tell me a little bit about what PDX Beam does for the typical consumer?
Yeah, so actually, it benefits not only the consumer, but maybe even more so the merchant. But what it does for the consumer is currently, to summarize it, we host 8 digital assets on Beam, and we're adding 2 more right now. We host the major ones: Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, Doge, XRP, USDT, USDC, and Trump Coin. So we're now adding ApeCoin and Tron, which will be on our platform next week. Eventually, our goal is to host the top 100 cryptos by market cap, defined by market cap and liquidity. And so that'll be a dynamic thing that changes maybe every quarter or every month because we want to stay current and relevant. So that's where we are today. So what we do is we enable the user, the retail user, to walk into a store or make an online purchase with their phone using a QR code and using their crypto wallet, any crypto wallet, to make a purchase with cryptocurrency. At the same time, but in a separate but linked transaction, and we did this for compliance purposes, we settle instantly in cash. So when I say instantly, either atomically or same day ACH with the merchant. And that's independent of the customer side of the transaction.
Wow.
So if you're a merchant, you're not exposed to crypto or crypto risk, holding risk, or any other risk, custody risk, or nothing. All you know is that a guy is standing on the other side of your shop counter buying whatever you're selling him, and you don't care if he's paying in cash, USDT, or bananas. Why? Because all you know and care about is that you just instantly got confirmed for payment in cash from our bank, our settlements bank. That's in the simplest way I can describe it is what we do.
So
We
you
give the
actually, to be
merchant.
able to address this in the market, you had to open your own settlements bank. So you could do a bank-to-bank ACH, and so you're the
Well, funny
liquidity
you should
provider.
mention that because that's exactly what we're doing. So we, this week actually, are signing a letter of intent to buy a small bank down in Virginia because we
Ah,
want to do our own settlements. Currently, we have a tech platform, a financial tech and settlements platform called Dwolla, DWOLLA.
hmm.
They in turn use a bank for cash settlements to merchants. So we piggyback on their platform, and this helps us do transactions in our beta here in the United States.
And does that bring your own internal transaction fees down? Because I realize that, merchant
Well,
transaction fees can be quite hefty, and since you're
yeah,
the liquidity
so I think
provider,
we're paying Dwoller like 45 cents per settlement. If the merchant wants instant settlement, whether that's through RTP or FedNow, they might pay 70, 75 cents. That'll come down in time as volume picks up. But certainly, once we have our own banking license in place, we will be able to lower those fees. And we pick up those fees. That's an expense of ours.
That's an
So,
expense of yours, and so are you
yeah.
able to remain competitive or
Oh,
undercut the market
absolutely.
for the
Yeah.
merchants, not just for
Yeah,
the
so
users?
we're charging the merchant like 1.5%. We think we can bring that down in time very substantially, but we're charging 1.5%. Unlike with credit cards, there are no other middlemen in there. There are no other third-party payment processors, no
Yeah.
other hands in the till grabbing a piece of that 3% fee. So we're able to say to the merchant, we'll hook you into our system. Integration is quick and easy, doesn't interrupt your existing payment rails, doesn't cost you anything. We'll have you integrated into your POS, existing POS platform and terminals within 2 or 3 days. You have no crypto risk, no nothing. We're just going to settle you in cash. Not only will we do that, but we'll do it instantly or same day ACH, and we'll charge you half. Actually, when you consider all their other little fees on the side, less than half of what Visa and MasterCard are charging them.
Yeah, absolutely. It is less than half. So it's
Yeah,
very appealing to the merchant. There's no fees to the user, to the
yeah,
purchaser.
exactly. Like most people think that the interchange fee is like 2.5 to 3% with Visa
Yep.
or MasterCard, but what they don't understand is the merchant also is being uh, labored, burdened rather, with a whole bunch of other little fees on the side. Monthly fees for this, monthly fees for that, equipment fees, software fees, and it adds up. It's more like 4%.
Yep. Yep. Here in New York, there's actually it's technically illegal, I believe, to be charging your to be passing on your Visa fees to your purchasers. I remember using Visa as in my last
Yet
company,
in practice,
and I
that's what's
remember
actually happening.
and then they actually are passing it on to us, and I'll inform the merchants like, this is technically illegal, and if you just take a picture of it and submit it to Visa, eventually they'll push back and say you can't do that, but they're doing it because the fees are so high for these merchants. They're trying to pass
Yeah.
it on to the
Yeah,
purchasers.
it's increasingly common. So, for example, every month in our company, we have a lot of different fees and expenses to pay, of course, operating expenses. And we're finding with some of the expenses that are paid by automatic debit, card debit every month, I'm noticing now, Google is one example, they have always been foisting the fee onto us. So the merchant, in their case, they're not picking up the fee themselves, they're just charging us back. Not only that, until a year ago it was 3%, and then it suddenly jumped up to 4%.
Wow. Wow, that's crazy. So you guys are
Yeah,
able to
and we,
undercut
we, have,
that. So
we
when
have
you
a
go to
couple
a
of
new
examples of that.
So when you go to a new merchant, you're able to say, "We'll give you a cheaper option, and we can make it easy." And now you can open up your possible user base to crypto users.
Yeah, exactly. And to your point about that situation being illegal in New York, sometimes we do for overseas customers or for interstate customers. Sometimes we do at the merchant's insistence, like landlords, for example, where people are using our product to pay rent. So the landlord wants the customer to pay the rent,
Yeah.
to pay the surcharge, whether it's a
Yep.
card fee or our fee, on top of as a
Yep.
surcharge, rather than they themselves pick it up.
Yeah, it's
And
true.
so that's a use case where we have to charge that 2% back to the customer, the retail customer. We have a very big client called ApplyWave down in Florida, and they are in the business of foreign student enrollments in universities and colleges. Like they have
Oh,
400 colleges, mostly but not all in the US, including Harvard. And most of their students are signing up for online courses, and all their students that are signing up for those courses are in places like India, Nigeria, Ghana. And so we have to charge the fee back to them
yeah,
in
that
that
makes sense.
case. Mortgage payments are another example. We have Florida's biggest mortgage company, AD Mortgage. We're
I'm
setting
familiar
up
with
right
AD. I
now.
used to be in the mortgage business. That's
Right, so
great.
you know who they are.
Yeah,
They're very big, three,
very
four
big.
billion a
And they're
year.
very forward thinking in terms of non-QM products and
They
new
are.
payment processing and all of that. I'm
They
not
are. And as,
surprised.
as you may know, or you may not know, I don't know, they are owned by a very large hedge fund, Imperial Funds, which is also a client of ours, $7.5 billion. So in the case of AD Mortgage, they're saying, well, if someone wants to pay their monthly mortgage payment, 2,500 a month or whatever the payment might be, we have to net back or charge back rather to the payer the
Yeah.
2% fee. AD Mortgage don't want to pick it up.
Exactly. That makes sense. I
Yeah,
mean, it's too bad, but it is what it is. And I know there's one client that you guys actually on Instagram I saw that you had a film crew follow you guys in. You did an entire selection and purchase of diamonds at
yeah.
Leon Diamonds.
Yeah,
So
actually, my family's personal jeweler in the Diamond District. We have a great relationship with them, even though they keep hounding me to buy more jewelry for my wife,
of
and she
course,
keeps hounding me to buy it. But we have a great relationship with them on the business side, where they were getting a lot of inquiries from customers, including celebrities like rappers and their clients include people like Madonna. They were getting a lot of their celebrity and normal off the street clients coming in and saying, "Oh, are you able to accept crypto
yeah.
payments?" And they weren't accepting crypto payments because they didn't want to be bothered with the holding risk or any of the other hassles of accepting crypto payments, selling the crypto, hoping the price won't move too much against them. So we came along, and I was actually buying something at their store, and I got to talking to them. And they said, this is really interesting. Let's have a more formal discussion about this. And that's how that got going. And so we set up with them, we integrated PDX Beam into their platform, and uh, and now that's live and going nicely. And so you can walk into Leon Diamonds on 47th
Yes,
Street
walk
here.
me through what a user would do as a person who
Yeah,
downloads your app and has this ready. They own crypto and they want to buy a diamond.
yeah. And actually, if our PR people sent you the link to the Leon Diamonds interview that New York Post did,
Yeah, I know. That's why I mentioned it. Anybody can find it now. It's great. It's all
anybody can do
over.
it. Yeah,
Yeah.
and as you saw, you can do the whole transaction in 20 seconds.
So walk me through for this podcast, for
Hmm.
someone who's listening, what a user would experience if they own crypto and they walk into that diamond store and they want to buy a diamond.
Well, the short answer is a user would experience pure joy. The slightly longer answer is the customer walks into Leon Diamonds, they make their selection, and then they get their phone. They get a QR code that Leon Diamonds generate for the app on their phone, the customer app. Do the whole transaction. They select which crypto asset they want to pay with. Their wallet sends the crypto to us into our. We use Kraken in the United States for clearing crypto payments. So it goes from us, we send the crypto onto Kraken, and then we have an automatic sell order with Kraken on the crypto as we receive it. And we have a mechanism in place in case there are adverse price movements between the instant you make the transaction and the 10 minutes later, or longer sometimes, when we actually might get the crypto into our account. As you know, block time sometimes
Yeah.
can be slow, especially with Bitcoin.
Yeah,
It
block
might be,
confirmations
you
can
might
take
have a
up to
half
like
hour time
8 minutes.
yeah, you might have a half hour or more time difference sometimes with
Yeah.
Bitcoin, depending on congestion. So the merchant doesn't have to worry about that because we've already settled with him in cash, confirmed settlement, I should say, through our own bank. We have funds on deposit to cover all of our settlements. So it's a huge working capital headache for us, but it's still a working solution. That means the merchant doesn't have to rely or the customer doesn't have to stand there for half an hour waiting
Yeah.
for his Bitcoin to go through, and the merchant doesn't have to wait. He gets settlement confirmed, payment confirmed instantly.
I can think of so many merchants that are very crypto friendly here in Manhattan who I personally know because I'm always in the
Hey,
I'm
bring them to us. The more the
absolutely.
better.
If you need someone to do your sales or business development, I'm here for you because I know so many. I personally waited for the Bitcoin to finally get through and had, closing out a tab or whatever and just like, oh, I want this to happen. So if you're
Well, we
interested in
definitely need
expanding
to
your
have
footprint
that
in New York, I
conversation.
I know so many people that would love your product. Absolutely, and myself included.
Well, when you're talking to merchants, if you know so many merchants, we make
Yeah.
this available through our app as well to everybody. You can sign a referral agreement, and also there's a referral agreement built into the app, so that every time someone goes and makes a payment at a merchant that you've introduced, we give you a percentage of the transaction fee.
Oh, wow, that's quite the referral agreement. Fantastic.
I mean, is that an incentive or what?
Yeah, that's a great incentive. I love
Yeah,
this. So you're really like community building as well. And it sounds
yeah,
like I see that you have the PDX coin as well so that people can get
yeah.
involved in new ways. Can you tell me a little bit about how a user is going to go, where they go, and what their experience is in buying the PDX coin? It sounds like you probably have the way to make it very, very simple.
We do, or at least I think we do. So currently we're listed on just one exchange, and this is only temporary. We trade on a little European exchange called P2P B2B, but starting from late next month, and we actually won't set the actual listing date until after this weekend, because I'm just thinking through a whole lot of things we need to coordinate on the marketing and promotion side. But we are going to, it'll either be September 20 or October 1, one of those two dates. Sooner the better. We're going to be listed on Bitmart. 10 days later, we start trading on LBank.
No
10
way.
days later, we start trading on MEXC, MEXC.
Yep.
30 days later, Kraken, remember, are our strategic business partner. 30 days after MEXC, we start trading on Kraken, and Kraken, in turn, are going to bring in Binance. So we have 5 big listings coming up, and there are a couple of other exchanges we know on the side that also want to list us. So we said, feel free.
Oh, that's fantastic.
So yeah, so we got P2P, Bitmart, LBank, MEXC, Kraken, Binance, and a couple of others.
And the coin is PDX or is it PDX Beam?
PDX.
PDX.
Yes,
And
PDX Coin, the ticker is PDX.
and currently you can buy it directly on your pdxcoin.io website, or is it
No,
also?
you can't. You've got to go to P2P and buy it right now,
Ah,
unfortunately, which is a
all
bit of a
right.
pain in the backside. You probably, if you're a US purchaser, I think you have to use a VPN to
I
get to
bet
the
so.
exchange. But once we're listed on Kraken,
Yeah, it'll be a
anyone
different
here
story.
can buy it.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah. So, right now the coins are trading for about, I don't know, 227 the last time I looked. Um, we've got a 950 million market cap.
Oh,
Once we
that's
list on
fantastic.
Kraken and Binance,
Yeah.
I think we're going to see enhanced trading volume. So, and we've got a lot of announcements coming up as well that will support that. So, I think we're going to see, one would hope we're going to see an enhanced or bigger market cap as well. I do know that once we list on these new exchanges, or any two of them, but particularly Kraken, CoinMarketCap.com have said, well, once you're on at least 3 supported exchanges,
Yeah.
we'll effectively re-verify all your token numbers. Now, if they do that, that means we're a top 75 crypto asset.
Yeah. That's incredible. That's just
Top
fantastic.
75, top 80, which from a marketing perspective itself is huge.
That is huge. That is huge. And how long has PDX been around?
Oh my God, I feel like almost as long as I have, which is an awful long time. Um, we started the project in January 2018. I actually woke up on January the 3rd at 3 a.m. in the morning and had the whole idea for the thing. And then we refined it and tweaked it, and a lot of things changed. But I literally had the idea, I'll never forget it, 3 in the morning on January the 18th, January the 3rd rather, 2018. And I had been looking at crypto a few months prior to that. I first became aware of crypto way back in 2014
Really?
when, yeah, I met a guy in Beverly Hills that wanted to have a coffee, and he wanted me to help raise money for his little public company. And he didn't really know what he was doing, and he thought I worked for free, which I don't, or I didn't at the time. So, but what was interesting about that meeting is that he told me for the very first time about Bitcoin. And I was like fascinated because he's telling me the use cases for it in the future. He
Yeah.
predicted the future, and today, perfectly, way back in 2014, he said this is going to change everything. And because I have
Yeah.
something of a technical mind coming from an engineering family and background, I got it.
Yeah.
I thought, and the way he
You're right.
explained it, this little
Yeah.
English guy, it made perfect sense. And so he gave me zero point zero 0.02 of a Bitcoin on Coinbase, which I also had never heard of at that time. So every now and then I'd look at it, and of course, fast forward to the fourth quarter of 2017, when everything started going crazy, and I'm like, oh my God, wow, this is booming. And of course, we see this gold rush,
Yeah.
this ridiculous gold rush into crypto ICOs. And remember, I was, and still I'm in the oil and gas business as well, originally as a banker and then as an owner. And at that time, the oil and gas industry was in a slump. You couldn't give the stuff away. We were flaring gas in Texas because we couldn't sell it.
Oh
It
my
was like
gosh.
negatively priced. And I'm like, I have this beautiful asset with world-class third-party engineering support, blah, blah, blah. I can't get that financed. What hope has anyone else got? Because we wanted to do an IPO. And I'm watching this thing happen with crypto. And remember, I come from a banking and finance background, investment banking, securities, and what have you. And I'm thinking, there must be a way to harness this retail capital flow, which was a multi-billion dollar thing. I thought there must be a way to harness it to finance these oil and gas assets and then build an asset-backed crypto. Now, at that time, I had no idea beyond
Tokenomics
oil
was
and
not
gas
even a
what we were
word that
going
you
to
were thinking
do.
of at that point, right? I mean,
No,
tokenomics and
I
all of
was just
that just.
intrigued by the fact that I could create a currency and a value. But then I'm thinking, but how do you actually turn it into a currency? I had no idea for another year what the use cases would be. And more it became apparent that the infrastructure at that time in 2018 was pretty awful, as I'm sure you'll remember.
Yes.
And I'm like, there's no properly functioning payments method or methodology for crypto. So how do you actually use it? It's not a real currency. And I thought someone must have it. And I looked around, and there was really nothing.
Yeah. It was very
So
limited
my
back
next
then.
thought was, well, I got lots of money. I may as well, I may as well develop it myself.
True.
And that's what we did. Now, as is often the case with these things, when you get to near the end of the first or second phase of a project, you think back and you go, well, if I had have known how hard it was going to be back then, I would never have started. And that was the case. So I often tell myself that, thank God I was naive at the time because otherwise we wouldn't be where we are today. But once you're in for a penny, you're in for a pound.
Yep.
So we just kept going. We just kept throwing millions of dollars at it. Not too many millions, but millions of dollars. Not just my money, but we had investors as well who are all still with us and profiting enormously. But that's how we did it. And
Yes.
by the way, all private investors, wealthy private folks out in California, here in New York and elsewhere, and our own money, we've never had a penny of institutional money.
Really?
And by the way, I have a resentment about that. I really have an issue about that because it's
What is
not
the
that we haven't
resentment so
tried to
much?
get
There's a.
institutional money. No one's ever wanted to talk to us. You try to contact people in the VC firms.
Yep.
They either completely ignore you or they come back with something completely stupid. At the same time, we're seeing bucket loads of capital, much more than we ever needed, going into much lesser projects, many
Oh
of
yeah.
which have since failed. And it's like, why are we the lepers?
Yeah. Exactly. I know exactly how
So,
that
so
feels.
that's really reinforced the idea in my mind, which I can summarize with the words, Wall Street can go to hell.
Coming from an investment banker, those are powerful words.
Well, coming from an investment banker with enough experience on Wall Street here and on the West Coast to know that most of the people in the VC and venture capital world, well, venture capital is VC, most of the people in the space and in corporate finance generally, and I have to say this, and I don't care if there are any listening and they resent it, they're as dumb as a box of rocks. They're lazy
Absolutely.
and they're stupid. They're fundamentally stupid. You don't get the value of what we have today. There's something wrong with you and you shouldn't be in finance. All these guys are calling themselves investment bankers. Unlike me, they can't write a check for $1 million. If you can't write a check for $1 million, which is nothing these days, don't call yourself an investment banker or a venture capitalist.
Exactly. Well put. I love
Yeah,
this.
I have to say it.
Oh, I love that you're saying it. And I'm glad that you're based in New York because I am also the city leader for Bit Angels here in New York. And I
Well,
host
we
many,
definitely
many
need to
events.
show you this in a
Absolutely.
live
I'm
demo.
very interested. And I love that you're in my backyard because I think that we're going to not only have a round two when you guys have the coin. I mean, I would love to revisit this once the coin is on, Coinbase and Kraken, and it's easier for US people to grab and be able to
Yeah.
really show them what they can do to access this. But also, I mean, this is amazing technology. It belongs in the hands of more and more merchants and more users.
It does, and it's proprietary technology. We hired one of the world's biggest law firms, Hogan Lovells, they're here and in London, to protect our IP, do our patent application filings, trademark filings. So we're very, very well and unfortunately very expensively advised
Well,
because you know how they charge these lawyers. But we're very well advised and protected. So we're
that's
constantly
great.
looking out for who might be infringing on our IP because we own it,
That's fantastic. I love
which
that you
affects our
also.
valuation. I mean, normally, someone said to me just yesterday, one of my own guys internally said, "What's our valuation looking like?" And I said, "Well, it's too early to tell because we're in the early stages still from a commercial perspective." But I said, once we hit a revenue run rate of, say $10 million or $100 million, 10x. But I said, a couple of people have told me from the finance world in recent months, maybe we can get 20 or 25 or 30x.
Yeah.
And I said to them, why is that? And the answer is because you own a unique technology outright
Yep.
and it's hyper scalable.
Hyperscalable. It's fantastic. It's really exciting to know that people can start accessing their crypto and using it. As they said
Yeah.
at the a diamond store, some people feel like because they're kind of speculating with crypto and it goes up, they just think it's almost not real money. They don't want to let go of
Well,
their
exactly.
savings in the same way that they will let go of their Bitcoin, which is strange.
Exactly. Well, we
As a
make it real
Bitcoin person,
money.
I don't understand that logic at all, but many
Yeah.
normal people think that way. So,
Well, that's the problem. Probably 75 to 80% of them think that way. So this is one of the issues with the crypto space. We need to educate everyone. Now, it's mostly the older people, the dinosaurs,
yeah,
you know, like me. But I'm kind of a standout in my age cohort.
yeah.
Most people, I'm 64. Most people, my age group and older, I mean, they're so frightened of the concept. They can't get their minds around it. I'm very young internally, so I'm thinking, oh my God, if you can't get your mind around AI and payments technology, how the hell are you going to survive in 20 years from now when it's
No kidding.
ubiquitous? You've
No
got to
kidding.
keep moving forward. You've
Absolutely.
got to keep learning. You can't get stuck in the 1960s.
Well, this is definitely very, very far from the 1960s, and it's just
Yeah.
been amazing to learn what people can do to use something as simple as a QR code and an app on their phone to access their crypto and be able to buy things. I absolutely love it, and I'm
Well, it really is
thrilled to
that
have a
simple.
round two with you in the future, well,
We are
especially once the
definitely going to
PDX
do a
coin is
round
out.
two in the next couple of months, 3 months.
Absolutely. This is an
And Monica, by
exciting
the way, if I
season.
might add, when you look at our website, you'll notice at the top of the page on pdxcoin.io, you'll see our slogan, turning crypto into currency.
I love this. We need more of this. Ah, Shane, thank you so much
Because,
for sharing this on our podcast.
no,
It's been
it's a
wonderful to
pleasure. I
have you on
mean,
Cryptocurrency.
because we literally are turning crypto into currency. So we're making cryptocurrency.
Yes, absolutely. And that I think you might have just come up with our title for this episode, Turning Crypto into Cryptocurrency. But
I
thank
mean,
you
that's
so
the
much for,
simplest and best way to describe it.
yeah, absolutely. This is fantastic. Well, I just want to thank you again for sharing with us on cryptocurrency and helping us to understand all the new ways we can use our cryptocurrency and all the
Well, it's
things that
been a
you're bringing
pleasure.
to us.
And I'm
It's
glad I haven't bored you to tears.
not in the slightest. And I'm sure you haven't bored our listeners to tears either. This is a very great use case. Thank you so much for joining us.
It's been
And
a pleasure.
absolutely, likewise. Well, with that, this wraps up our latest episode. I'm Monica Prophet, your host here with Shane Rodgers, and we'll catch you on the next episode. Thank you so much for listening to Cryptocurrency.